I'm sure if you're watching this channel, it means that there's a high probability that at least at one point in your life, you've wanted to make a website. Since I've also wanted to build a site in the past and currently have a website, I would like to do this in Emacs. Since I'm an org user, I would like to do this in org mode rather than plain Markdown. So in today's video, I would like to try to explain how I set up my website in Hugo. So Hugo's just kind of like a static site generator, pretty minimal I would say, but basically what it does is it takes like markup text, like Markdown or org mode for example, and then does some parsing with it and then makes it into HTML, which you can put on a server, and then as the name implies, the server serves the page of the site. I'm not a web developer, but that's kind of like how I understand it. So Hugo automates this process and it makes it pretty convenient to manage a website and change styles with it and manage the content that you're writing. So I think it's very useful for me to use as a tool. Alright, so we can get into how you would start making your website. When you start a website, which is, I haven't done this since I started mine over a year ago, I guess. And so you would just run the command Hugo new site and the name of the directory you would like to call it. And so, yeah, you run that, and then it gives you some directions you can follow afterwards. Change the current directory to there. Okay, that makes sense. Create or install a theme. So we can go to their themes website in a separate window. And then after that you set your theme here, so it would be like theme equals and then whatnot. And then afterwards you would create content and then check if it works. So if we take a look at my website, we would see that I have a themes directory, which is not empty. I have my content in this directory, and then in here I have my shortcodes, which we'll learn about later, and then here I have like my fonts and other static stuff like images and style sheets, and the rest of this is just relevant to my specific website. So I think before a Hugo update was made, this used to be called config.toml, but now I think it's called hugo.toml for some reason, but they do the exact same thing. I'm not sure why that changed, but this is just for my Vercel, which is free hosting website. So I don't actually host it myself since I don't want to get doxxed. You can make a pretty easy account with GitHub and Vercel together, although it's kind of proprietary garbage, but like you don't really, for me it doesn't really matter that much because the alternative is kind of a hassle, to be honest, just for hosting a website that pretty much nobody's going to read anyway. Yeah, mine is a little, my website layout is a little bit different with the content. So you'll see that I'll have these tags, all these directories for tags, and that shows up the links and stuff. So it'll be like the root is here. So you'll go to bardman.dev/about, and then it'll show you the about page. But if you go to /videos and then _index, that will be the videos page, which is also just org. But I use these things called shortcodes that dramatically decrease the amount of like raw HTML you would have to write otherwise. So you can basically kind of make like quick templates. So for example, this one, it sets up a grid for images, and these are all results of images. It'll take a YouTube thumbnail and then grab the thumbnail from YouTube, and then it will add a title to it, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look at the rest of the instructions from the compilation. So we need to create or install a new theme. So let's grab Luke Smith's theme. So we got his theme on GitHub here, so we're just going to copy the URL, and then he has some instruction on this website where you literally just clone his repo into themes. So we can go to themes and then git clone and then you'll have Hugo in there. And then after that, you need to add the theme to your TOML file, just like the compilation said in the third step. And then we have to make new content. So let's see what it looks like. Let's see. Let's make an index.org and then have the title be my new site. And then this is from org mode. Hello world. And then so we can do this server now, so we can do compile and then Hugo new Hugo server, and then I like to add no HTTP cache and -- ignore cache. It basically makes it easier to not have the style sheets messed up. So when you change the style sheet, it doesn't always update because your browser is like storing the old style in the cache. So this is ignoring the cache is very useful. And let's see what's the problem.
The world! 止まれ時よ今のディオには何ができるの時を止めてもスタープラチナが
Oh, it's probably because I'm in the wrong directory. There we go. So now it's at, you can see localhost 1313. So we can just open that in the browser and then turn off dark reader and this over here, and this is what it looks like. So you have the RSS button down here, and it's just a very plain site, as you can see. So we can go ahead and start adding some more content. I'm curious to see what does Hugo new content, and then it said the subsection, so I guess technology, and then we'll call it hello.org. And then we can see actually on our little browser thing here, it shows up technologies, and it says the date and whatnot. So if we look up the diary, it shows that here. But I don't really like using this like YAML looking stuff. I like just doing that, and it still works fine. But when I make a new page on my website, I just call it like test.org or whatnot, and then I have a snippet called blog, and then I put the title like hello world, and then the type of post. This is more related to my custom stuff, but I'll put like publication, and then I'll add tags like Emacs, Linux, Hugo, and then continue writing whatever. And then obviously this all breaks because I don't have all that on my site. So yeah, this is essentially how you do it. It's really not complicated for you to start just writing from here. If you want to make a Vercel account, they have, Hugo works with that. Like, it's literally plug and play. You just put your repo and then add a Vercel integration. I didn't even have to watch a video to set that up. But if you want to make changes to the themes, you would have to kind of look through here, and yeah, here's a bunch of configurations. So if you didn't want RSS feeds for whatever reason, which is kind of criminal to be honest, you would just put false here, and then you obviously have to change your title and then your URL in your own config.toml. Luke Smith put some partials in here, which are layouts for the website, but he also has shortcodes for stuff like images. So basically you can just type something like 2 curly braces and then what's it called, an angled bracket, less than or greater than sign, and then you would type like image and then the parameters of the tag, so classes, and it's like image class, and then yeah, so I have a bunch of those in my website. So if you go to borgman.dev, I have in the static, in the layouts one, I have a bunch of shortcuts. So if we take a look at my website, I have this page is like all done with like all these publications. These update automatically because the shortcode over here, I forgot which one I used. We'll have to check the content and then index.org. So I have a shortcode called publications, and it'll like, you can basically vibe code these like and just keep testing until it works, but it's kind of simple to do yourself as well. So basically it just has the date format, and then I added an integration where if it has the tag up, if the last date of modification is not the same as the date of publication, then it'll add this little updating tag and push it back to the top. So these are sorted by last modified, but usually they're not. I don't modify them unless it's something like the programs I use file, because this is constantly changing all the time, or my my desktop gallery, which shows like my rices and whatnot. And then it'll show the date here, whether or not it's modified. And so on the actual pages down here, I have shortcodes that write out the tag, and then the items that have general as the tag. So yeah, it's pretty easy. And then for the video index, this is also a shortcode. I think there's a few like video and then YouTube thumbnail. Very simple stuff. You can go read it on my GitHub has it here. You can find my website, which I haven't updated in a while. It has a bunch of stuff, or it has all of the files here, including like the images, and you can see Vercel has deployed it a bunch. And I adjusted that for my domain. I use a custom domain and not a Vercel one. So I think I had to go into like Cloudflare or something and then use their DNS redirector to change the record from the Vercel website to redirect to this one. So I don't even think the Vercel link would work, but I don't even have that anymore. So, I guess, oh no way, I've had this in version control for 2 years now. I don't even remember that. Maybe I should show you what the actual pages themselves look like. So if we go to my homepage, I'll have like a video tag, and you can see this styling comes from just plain CSS. There's actually no JavaScript on this website. I forgot to mention that. So nothing I have is really I don't have any fancy animations or anything, and that's kind of the cool part about the static site, is that you don't really need all that. But it's cool to have animations and stuff. It's just I'm not a web developer, so this is simple enough for me. But you see, this is another shortcode that's literally just kind of like a container that collapses. Just plain HTML and CSS that's abstracted away for me, so I never have to look at it since it's kind of ugly. But yeah, it also makes like table of contents for you. Like, this is my Emacs config, which is very long. I have my config written in org mode, so I can literally just copy paste, put it on my website, add some stuff on it. I could probably automate that better because I periodically update it more. So for your own site, you could do like, you just write content for it, and then you can change the theme as you want. Hugo has a bunch of themes on their website. You can just pick one that you like, I think, because you can even read it in the Emacs web browser. Like, yeah, this is exactly just my website. And then if you scroll down, you can kind of see the images don't work so well. But that's just mostly because I haven't configured that yet. From there, it's all up to you what you can make with this. I just use what it provides. Like, in my website is honestly like very minimal in its usage of Hugo's features, other than just a copious amount of shortcodes for some reason. But if you look at my content statically, you can clone my repo and just browse through it yourself in Emacs, but like, I will just have the tags like this, and then the time and the date and stuff. They're not in the YAML format that it's going to try to force you to do, but I think I have it set in my config.toml to use some of these features. I'm not really sure exactly what they all do, because I figured this out a long time ago, but I added some highlighting for syntax, like blocks. So if I go to my website again, into my, like, yeah, this one, like my projects folder, it has syntax highlighting for a bunch of different languages. But yeah, you can see like a layout of my website in this image here. Like, this is where all the content is, and then these are the templates and themes, and then they all plug into the Hugo static site, and then it's outposted to public, and then hosted on Vercel's CDN, which is like content something something. And then yeah, I have all my static assets. Like, thanks for watching if you got this far. For some reason, I hope you decide to write your own website, because it's kind of helpful for just getting out there and showing people how you think is kind of important sometimes. Don't want to get too philosophical here, but I think it's good if you're a creative person to maybe share it with some other people, because it's almost beneficial for yourself and for others as well. Thanks for watching.